So hello everyone, in this video we'll be understanding what is a grid system in Bootstrap and how to implement that. So for that I'll be creating the new code which was not in this one. So let me just create one div here. So a grid is basically one container which is having a row class and some extra divs inside that which is having some call class. So for example, if I want to create a grid, I have to create a class which is row, and inside that I have to specify its parts or its sections which I want to create inside that, and I have to give some call class to it. So I have to give some call class. So let me just add some text here. For example, I can add in a heading, let's say call 1, and I can also add one h5 heading here which is call 2, let's say, and I can create the class call here. So if I do that, you see two column classes are there. You will find no difference in this, but let me just add some background here. Bg, let's say dark, text white. Bg dark will add a background color of dark, which is basically a black color or lighter than the black actually. And I can add a primary color here. So you can see that I can also give some margin and padding. That's up to you. You can give that, but let me just give some padding inside that. That's it. So this is it actually. So this is the two column layout when you want to create two column layout. So you'll be using this type of grid system you see here. And this is basically the default grid system you have. So we can create a div system like this, a row and the call classes, and then the Bootstrap will automatically make them in one row, and like a grid, it'll they will be coming in like each other, like in the next to each other they will come. So I can give a primary class here, or let's say danger class call 3. So now you see three column layout is there. Similarly, I can create 12 column layout as well. Like the maximum column layout I can add here is the 12 column layout. Basically, 12 columns can be created inside that with an equal width. 12 column can be created. But if I want this column to take up the large space, so I can give 4 here. So this call 4 will take the 4 part of the 12 column layout, and the four parts of one row will be assigned to this column only, and the remaining one will be the 8 columns, and then 8 columns will be distributed to each of them. So if I try to add 6 here, let's say, then the 6 is remaining because there were 12 columns. So there were 12 columns, I gave 6 to this column, then the remaining were 6 only, so 3 columns were distributed to this one, and 3 columns are distributed to this one. So actually this is how it is distributed. I can also specify the layout or the columns to give to these columns as well. For example, if I want to give 2 here, then I'll be specifying 2 here. I can also specify the remaining one, which is 4. So the 6 column layout will be to this for this one, and the 2 column layout for this, and the 4 column layout will be for this. If I do this, so unequal columns will be there. So the blue one is taking up the 6 column layout from the 12 columns, and this one is taking up 2 columns layout, and this one is taking 4 columns. But if I want the equal column layout, so I have to specify the equal number of columns to give to them. So 4 will be equal to 12, and the size is there. You can see that. And if I try to give larger than, now it's 6 4 10 and 4 14, so the 2 is extra. So that then that will not work in one line, so it will take up the width, but it will come into the next line. So this is how it manages the space actually. So we have to give the equal columns if we want to, like we have to use the 12 column layout. So I can distribute any number of columns to any div, but make sure it is total 12 columns, not more than that, otherwise it will come to the next line. Okay, so that's the thing we have to consider. So if we give each other the equal one, and if I try to go to the smaller screen, you see that it is not changing on smaller screen. And why is that? Because we haven't specified it, like we haven't specified to wrap into the next line if the screen size is smaller. So if you want to do that, then you have to specify some responsive classes as well, like responsive points as well. For example, for the medium screen devices, if you want the device to like this these columns to wrap into the next line on medium screen devices, then we'll specify call md then 4. Similarly here as well, and for this one as well. So now they will work on whenever the screen size is smaller than medium screen devices, so which is actually like 700, I think 760 or 70. We saw that in the last video. And now it is whenever it is smaller than the medium screen devices, then it will start taking up into the next line and it will take up the full width. So it is very necessary if you want to create responsive designs or whatever you want, so you can also add up to that. So if you don't want to take up the full width into the medium screen devices, so you can specify that. So if you wanted to take up the full width in small screen devices, so you can specify SM here. So it will act on small screen devices, which is actually it considers the maximum width to be 576 pixel. So it will take up the full width on smaller screen devices, not on the larger devices. Now you see that. So this is actually the behavior now. Similarly, I can add here LG. So it will take up the full width on the larger screen devices. Whenever the larger screen device is there, then it will take up the full width. You see that? So this is how we actually do in this, and we manage the spaces. So I hope you understood about the grid. We'll also understand in the next video or in the future videos, we also learn in the detail about these grids. I hope you got some idea about how we can use the grid and how we can make our layout in uh, Bootstrap. For whenever you want to create a section which is having 2 column layout or 3 column layout, then you will be using this raw column layout. So this is very beneficial because it provides us responsive classes as well, so we can use them without adding any media query, which we generally do in CSS files. We don't have to do that. So that's why it is very good to use whenever you are creating sections, and inside that if you have different column layouts, so then you definitely use this. That will be helpful. So this is it for this video. I hope you got something. Thank you for watching. Let's meet in the another one.